to say. You know, he's probably the greatest, and it's his fucking birthday. Give it up for John Freitag.
How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah. Really enjoying this Friday that's super fucking cold in South Bend. Like he said, it's my birthday, and I'm going to keep saying it that way because I may look like an adult man, but there's a 21-year-old woo girl somewhere deep down inside. I turned 28 today, which is a weird age because it's right around that time my peers are deciding if they want to have kids or not. And I'm still stuck between the regular or the studded leather belt that I'm going to choke myself with while I jerk off tonight. This birthday's kind of made me realize I'm like old young. And what I mean by that is I'm old enough to want to yell at kids to get off my lawn, but just young enough to not be able to afford a lawn. With the Omicron variant coming around, I've realized that my greetings and goodbyes aren't very COVID friendly. Like just last week, my dad, that guy right there, was at one of my shows, and when he went to leave, I went in for a handshake, and he went in for a fist bump, and I switched to a fist bump, and he switched to a handshake. When I grabbed him and pulled him in for an awkward hug, and then on instinct, I don't know why, I went in for an open mouth kiss. I stopped myself, because I'm not a weirdo. But if this keeps up, I'm going to wind up naked in bed with a stranger just for being polite. We're here in South Bend, and I love it. I'm a big football fan, so having Notre Dame just a few blocks away is perfect for me. But it's been a weird year for Notre Dame fans. Brian Kelly left us to become a head coach somewhere else, and he broke the news via text. So I kind of know how my exes feel. And a lot of people are upset. I'm actually a little optimistic. Sure, he won a lot of games, but he could never complete the season. Having Brian Kelly as a coach was like edging for 11 years. Can you just finish once, dude? I just need to come. Another thing that I love about football is I started young, and I got into it because I was doing baseball, and my dad signed me up for football, and the coaching styles of those two sports couldn't be any different. Baseball coaches are super encouraging and supportive, like, good swing, bud, or you'll get it next time. Football coaches? Not so much. Are you fucking blind out there? How did you miss that tackle? Quit crying, you baby, this is a man's sport. I remember one of my coaches grabbing me by the shoulder pads and pointing to another kid on the other team named Fat Joe by coaches, parents, and players alike, and telling me, I need you to put that fat-ass hog in the ground. And even I, as a 9-year-old, knew that that wasn't the right thing to call a heavyweight kid with an acne problem. But on the very next play, Fat Joe did one of these, and then fell on top of me, so fuck that kid. I've been fortunate enough to transition my love of sports and fitness into a job. I'm a certified personal trainer. In the last gym that I worked at, I was the coach of our youth fitness program. And anybody who has or has worked with kids knows that those kids just ask the weirdest fucking shit. One of my students came up to me and asked what I would do in a zombie apocalypse. And apparently buttering myself up and throwing myself to the horde was the wrong answer, because he started to cry. And then when I told him, don't worry buddy, you'll already be dead by then, calmed him down, didn't really work. He ran off to his mother, and now I'm looking for another job. In my short life, besides a personal trainer, I've been a chef, a machine operator, a reverend, and a delivery driver. What does that mean for you ladies out there? Well, I can cook you dinner, operate a battery-powered device, and have you praying to God in 30 minutes or less. Or else the breadsticks are free. It's company policy. And like I said, I'm a reverend, which is kind of cool, because at one point when I was a kid, I wanted to be a priest. And as a reverend, I can do all the cool stuff like marrying people and spouting bullshit. But without the touching. It's kind of like being a priest light. And if I was a priest, though, I'd want to be a priest at one of those churches that hosts professional wrestling on the weekends. And you always know what ones they are because they have two banners sandwiching the actual church sign, so you don't know what's going on in the community. But you know, this weekend you'll get to see Muscle Mike jumping on Jumpin' John. I think it'd be so much fun to be an announcer at one of those. It'd be like, what's that? Deacon Dan is climbing to the top rope to deliver his holy elbow of justice? Please join us on Sunday, to confess your sins to Father Bill. Be a lot of fun. And even though I wanted to be a priest, I'm really not into supernatural. Like, I had a girl ask me if I was a rising Leo, and I told her, baby, I know as much about astrology as I do women's anatomy. And she did not need the stars to tell her that she'd be disappointed twice that night. Did everybody have one of those weird high school sex stories that spread like wildfire? And a friend of a friend always had proof of it, but nobody ever saw it? Ours involved a girl, her dog, and some peanut butter. And I won't get into the details, but while everybody else was concerned what this would do for her college career or what her parents would think, I was over here asking the real questions, like, well, what kind of peanut butter was it? Was it creamy or crunchy? And was it Peter Pan peanut butter? They just had their salmonella recall. I don't know if that's sexually transmitted. Anybody here use Venmo? No? Yeah. I'm a big fan of it because instead of having to like drive to a dark alley, I can just send my drug dealer an amount of money in an emoji. So like for pot, I'll send broccoli. Or for mushrooms, I'll send mushrooms. Or for acid, I'll send a fish. I don't ask questions. But then I remember I have my boss on Venmo. And some asshole there decided to set it up like a social media site. So every transaction pops up like a status update on your friends list. So now I'm stuck making a fish stir fry at 3 a.m. because I asked for a 4-day weekend and I don't want them to get suspicious. I need my fun too. Speaking of fun, I actually had a good time this past week. I went down to visit my cousin in Tennessee, which was nice because we usually only get to see each other at funerals. We've been to 4 in the past 3 years. Her brother, our grandmother, my sister, and her dad a few months ago. And she put how I felt about those 3 years so well into words the last time I saw her. She described it as the most fucked up game of Survivor. And we're just the ones not getting voted off. And instead of immunity idols, we get PTSD and depression. And instead of winning, we get memorial tattoos and some fancy urns. Jeff Probst, wherever you are, snuff out my torch before I do it myself. With the holidays closing, I watched the Great British Bake Off holiday special. Any Great British Bake Off fans in here? No? It's a fantastic show and you're missing out. Sorry. But I realized I want to be the first American contestant on that show. I think I can bring the right edge to boost their ratings. For example, when a contestant's struggling, the others will come over and help them. But I'd be the first one there blowing it over, trying to get it to fall going down here. You shit, you're stuck! And then when they win a challenge, they're so bashful and humble, like, oh gosh, no, not me. Everyone else is so good. Not me. Not this American spirit. Woo! That's how you decorate a cake! Is that fondant, George? You're trash, George. Trash. And don't even get me started if I one-star baker. Is it 1776 again? Did the American win? Do you even know how to make baklava, Victoria? Your phyllo wasn't even laminated. USA, USA, USA. And I'll leave you guys with this. It's a question debated by philosophers for years. Why can our buttholes taste spicy but not sweet? Why do I have to feel the burn of a pepper twice? And all I really want is that sweet kiss from a Twinkie. You guys have been wonderful. Have a wonderful night.
Keep clapping. That's your son. What'd you just say? Happy birthday. Shut the fuck up.